Hello. Are you still listening?
The Magnus Protocol, the sequel to the Magnus Archives, which, if you are not familiar with the Magnus Archives, I'm impressed you found this video. It is a anthology horror podcast slash audio drama, which every episode is like a short horror story and then everything connects and is cool and has really cool lore. But they are releasing a sequel series called the Magnus Protocol. And the fun thing is that you don't actually need any previous knowledge of the Magnus Archives to get into the Magnus Protocol. It might be a little less satisfying, and I do recommend listening to the Magnus Archives. This is my notes before the ARG has started, because there's an ARG. I'm not smart enough for ARGs, so I will be taking a lot of information from other people. I'll try and leave the lore documents that we have in the description, hopefully, if I remember to kind of that's how I take my notes, because I have been trying to help. It is just that everyone is moving way faster than me and I'm not smart enough for this. So we first of all have the board. I don't know how legible this is from your perspective, but this video will definitely have multiple sections when I have more information, because this video is recorded the day after the ARG started. This will be a base knowledge thing that we have. This might get really confusing. We have the plot description of the Magnus Protocol. We have these two characters called Az and Sam, who are basically working for the British Civil Service. Interesting note, in our plot description for the Magnus Protocol, we have a very direct statement that the Magnus Institute, Manchester, was burned down in 1999. Anyone who's watched the Magnus Archives knows that this did not happen, and that the Magnus Institute is located in London, which completely instantly confirms that this is an alternate universe. Alternate universes have existed in the Magnus Archives previously, so if you've watched the 200th episode, you know where this is going. So I am currently taking notes by having things from the Magnus Archives, the original series, in green, whereas information gotten from the Magnus Protocol is in orange. So it's easier to see head on what information is for fact true in this universe versus information we are gathering from the previous series. Because, for example, the Magnus Institute is different here. We don't know anything about the Magnus Institute in the same way we knew previously, because any information we have could be wrong. Any interesting notes I want to make: the fact that John and Martin basically pulled the lever on the trolley problem and sent all of the fear entities over to a different universe, which most logically is what we are dealing with right now, is this alternate universe that has to deal with these new entities. I feel like every Magnus Archives fan immediately noticed when we got the cast for the Magnus Protocol is the fact that there's a character called Gwendolyn Bouchard. She is obviously related to Elias Bouchard, who was the main antagonist from the previous series, but he was actually body snatched by a guy named Jonah Magnus. When people saw Gwendolyn Bouchard, instead of going, ah yes, this must be a family member of Elias, people instantly just went, ah yes, it's the same person. That's just trans Elias. So Celia Ripley, my absolute beloved, my child, she is voiced by Lorian Davis, who, if you are not aware, Lorian Davis voices a previous character in the Magnus Archives called Leonie Hammond. Leonie Hammond loses her identity in season 5, and then goes by the name Celia. Those two things are very clearly related, and I want to point out that in the cast calls for is that there is a character who is referred to as Redacted, who steals people's identities to make an identity for itself. I've not connected these two just yet, because I could just be reaching here, but It is something I like to point out. Also, on the casting calls, there's also a character called Grace Wild, and is mentioned to be ripping off other people's tattoo designs, which to me that sounds like a flesh avatar. We have this little section of characters where we have Johnny Sins and Alexander, who are voicing characters again. We don't know who. However, the little code that it says, if you like force yourself to look at it, right, it does look like it says John and Martin. It's going to be John and Martin. Then we get to Tim Farron, who we don't know who that is. I have seen most people say that it is Jonah, which I guess makes sense. I don't know if they're going to do like Jonah Magnus 2 Electric Boogaloo, but it does kind of look like it says Jonah. That might be confirmation bias. Also, I have a little bingo card. I'll leave a link to my Tumblr post with the bingo card, so you can make your own little bingo card. Here we have the section of random characters that we don't have anything about, really. And then the most important part, the British Civil Service, whose name, like the name of the company itself, is way too long for me. I'll try to look it up. It is the Office of Incident Assessment and Response Recruiting. That is a mouthful. ARG part of the ARG. This is the ad that plays before Magnus episodes at the current.
The Office of Incident Assessment and Response has positions open for immediate recruitment. Our work involves meticulous handling of incident reports and offers job security and regularity unmatched in other sectors. The application process is simple. Send your cover letter to hr@office-of-incident-assessment-and-response.org.uk with the subject line Job Application. Thank you. Realise, report and respond with the OIAR.
We have the main website for the British Civil Service, who basically refer to like job applications and stuff like that, and there's like a lot of legal jargon, which I've tried reading it. It just sounds like words. A bunch of fans figured out that there's like a video link, which then if you decode, you get an IP address, and that IP address leads to like eventually stuff, and you get like this German like forum where they are just like it's an old school in-universe forum from like the 1990s to like the 2000s, and it's just a bunch of people from Germany talking to each other. Or not from Germany, they're just talking in German. They are from Germany or are German in some way, but some of them live in other places. There is just so much in this. This is I did not make this. Again, these people have been like making like a document, translating everything. I'll link it if you want to read stuff about it. I'll respect everyone who translated that. It was like watching ants work.
Being underground reminds me of how fun it is to observe ants.
So I need you to know that this started out with like a bunch of cat pictures. Like if you opened it up, you just saw cat pictures. These people were sending cat pictures to each other. I love that. That is great. The main person who is running this forum is called like Sandmans. And Sandmans, first of all, Der Sandman is like a German book that has been mentioned in Written Sarcasm previously. And now for Pinky Super It's Not Gonna Happen, we're still holding on to this theory corner. Basically, this is how Agnes Montague can still win. In Mag 114, we have this cleaner who goes to Hilltop Road, then falls into like the basement, and then falls through the hole in reality at Hilltop Road, which is the only place we know is possible for dimension hopping. And she lands in the Magnus Archives universe, and she makes a statement about it. A bunch of notes. This is the only canonical alternate universe that we know anything about. outside of the Magnus Protocol, of course. The most important parts is that, first of all, the tree at Hilltop Road is still standing despite this statement taking place after Agnes should have died. That tree fell the same day Agnes committed suicide, so therefore Agnes is probably still alive in that universe. And second of all is that this person does not know the Magnus Institute. She says that she's lived in London all her life. She's never seen that building. She doesn't know it, which would align with the fact that the Magnus Institute is located in Manchester in like the Magnus Protocol and burned down in 1999. Of course, she wouldn't know what that is. Basically, my theory is that that universe mentioned in that episode is the same as the Magnus Protocol universe. And Agnes is still alive in that universe, so Agnes is going to be important somehow. A little bit of an update. Stuff went kind of wrong, but other people found a phone number and they call it, and I'll like put the response as a clip here.
You have reached the Office of Incident Assessment and Response. We are currently engaged in system assessments and upgrades and as such cannot accept new messages at this time. This process should complete by Friday the 22nd of September. Thank you for your patience. Realize, report, respond with the Office of Incident Assessment and Response.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Someone found out that if you press the asterisk, you get a different response. And then eventually Martin, the IT guy, picked up. Someone from Rusty Quill had to tell us that we weren't supposed to do that. This is the third day. My first thing that we're going to talk about is Freddy. I don't think it's supposed to be referred to as Freddy. I'm referring to it as Freddy. An algorithm thingy. It's on the website, and you have like an identification thing that you have to fill in. We've not figured it out yet. And I feel like it's important, especially because it's technology based. And I still fully believe that the extinction is going to be really important. My German isn't good enough for this. But this guy has really been banned from the forums for constantly spouting conspiracy theories and stuff. Most notably for me is that he mentions having found a huge pile of like a database that they have found, and they're like, I don't know if this is fictional, but it's super weird. I have proof, blah blah, and of course like all the other like conspiracy theory stuff. But this one is very specifically interesting because the post itself was made in 2001, and in the Magnus Archives, Mag 68. It is actually mentioned that there was a database leak in 1999 where they basically had like a bunch of statements leaked. It would also be the most overt connection to the Magnus Archives we've had in the ARG itself. With that, our little conspiracy theorist guy also talks about like data tracking and all the neat stuff, which, you know, makes sense. Again, I fully believe that that is like an important theme that's going to go through the entire thing, is like technology.
Any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology!
We also have dates. People have been talking about a cookbook. They put it like they analyzed it with steganography. I'm too dyslexic for this, but basically they found like a date in it that says like 30th September between 11 and 7. Don't know that there's going to be like an update. Same for the phone number. We've mentioned the phone number before. The phone number mentions the 22nd of September. Right now, we don't have much outside of analyzing the alchemy symbols. I've not mentioned the alchemy symbols all that much because I don't really get it. There's been some developments regarding the like German emailing stuff, and I was like, I've not updated on that yet. It's been like a few days, but we've been really stuck because we keep getting to files and like website pages that we need passwords for, and we don't have the passwords. We were stuck, so I was like, might as well record. And right when I was going to start recording, Bonzo happened. I'll get to Bonzo. Found new emails through a like response email that we got by sending an email, a job application email. We got Ein Seminar, and I'm 100% sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but the conspiracy guy, we got his login code, which gave us access to like the members part of the emails. And there's a lot of really interesting stuff in there. Checkpoint Charlotte and Iron Curtain both mentioned that Ein Seminar has been basically emailing them and DMing them personally about like weird shit. Specifically mentioned cryptic news about an institute. So to say that Ein Seminar found like the records from the Magnus Institute is pretty fucking likely. All his like very frantic messages are from 2001, so he basically found something, sent like a message like, hey, if nobody finds me, I did something really dumb, if I don't respond to this, I'm gone. Great. I hope you're... No, he's kind of a shitty guy. I was going to say, I hope you're okay, but I don't know. At that point, Charlotte mentions like, hey, do these numbers mean anything to anyone? Because Ein Seminar. Ein Seminar. Sent her like weird codes, and basically that code leads to an email, and that email contains a file, and we cannot open the file. Oh no, did I remember? Master Doc, please help me out. Right, we got another email by sending it to Freddy. How did we get to Freddy again? We found an email. I do have it here. We found an email called Freddy Office Incident and Response, blah blah blah. Freddy spelled normally. Which I don't know if that has any connection to our little algorithm guy called Freddy. I assume so. And the email contained like coordinates, or at least like if you decode stuff, it contained coordinates, which led to billboards. I have the map here just because it looks cool. I scanned the QR code on the billboards. It led to a page with an alchemy symbol, which then required a password. Again, we've been stuck on these passcodes, going through different motions to try and figure out stuff, try and find stuff, passwords and stuff. And then somebody sent a link to a Tumblr, which has been from the start of the ARG. It's called Strange Haunts UK, and it contained a bunch of posts about like haunted / abandoned places in the UK, including the Magnus Institute. Yes, the Magnus Institute Manchester is, of course, an educational program for gifted children and adults. Of course! I found this page 5 days in. And then the entire Discord kept arguing about whether it was real or not. There's also a theme park called Bonzoland, and it had a linked website. And oh my god, what the fuck is this? I love Bonzo with my entire life. But what the fuck are you? So we got Bonzo over here, which the theme park shut down. I don't know what to do with that information. Current theory, Ein Seminar, burned down the Institute. Okay, this is like a little crackpot theory. Seminar is like, oh, I did something dumb, they're after me, blah blah blah, in 2001. Of course, that does not line up with the Magnus Institute burning down in 1999. But on the forum, like on the emailing stuff, some of the dates just don't make sense, which maybe there's time fuckery going on. But it just kind of looks like, because they had a meetup. Basically, a bunch of the members from the Usenet emailing group wanted to meet up, and someone suggested Manchester, you know, where the Magnus Institute is located, and then Ein Seminar was like, no, we gotta call off the meetup, do not meet up, something happened. So, like, there is definitely something related to Magnus. I'm not saying he burned down the Institute, but I'm saying he burned down the Institute. That, or he is basically being hunted by the thing or person that burned down the Institute, and he found out something about the Institute, and this person or thing is trying to hide anything about the Magnus Institute because it's probably related to some supernatural bullshit. I don't know. Also, I just genuinely shout out to the Rusty Quill staff for being honestly very responsive to us. They've been really nice in the Discord. Martin eventually joined after we accidentally called him. He's been really nice. Both Jess and April have continuously told us to just not commit crimes, which you can't stop me. So, we are on day 6, I think. Time's not real. Update on the Bonzo situation. Basically, people compared Bonzo to like Mr. Blobby, which is apparently like a very well-known British thing. And people are like, oh, we're going to ship these two together and Tumblr manify Bonzo. And just this message says it all. Johnny wanted a non-fuckable monster. I failed him. We also got more Bonzo content. If you go to the website at 3 a.m. at the witching hour, you get this weird ass image with this weird audio clip. That's totally not creepy at all. Also got Colin news. Who's Colin, you may ask? The website we found through the billboards, which was passcode locked. We found the passcode with the Strange Haunts UK banner. So we got to that website, which I think it's like a Office of Incident and Response worker. The website's really weird, and there's like weird shit to decode. The thing that almost immediately got my attention, the phrase "my mind is all corners," which that is very clearly a similar phrase to like Sergei Yushchenko, which Colin might have been Yushchenka'd. Also, there is a character on the cast list called Colin, so I'm going to assume that that is the same guy. If this is another Michael situation and Colin is not Colin, Johnny, I might not know where you live, but I can and will find out. That sounds really mean. I've also made comments about Freddy being Yushchenka'd, because there's like an email where Freddy is typed like a normal name, and then you got like the robot name Freddy. So maybe he got Yushchenka'd, but also from like the logs we have of Colin's messages, It could also be that he found someone who is Yushenka. So there's 3 possible Yushenkas. It's just a little bit too much Yushenking going on here. Also, we got an email from Colin, and he is not happy that we are spamming him. With the audio clip we found on the Bonzo website, you get another date. So it's 1st of October, which then I'm going to remind people that the dates we are waiting for. We are waiting for tomorrow, which is the 22nd of September. We gotta go back to the telephone. 30th of September and the 1st of October. There is already Bonzo fanfiction. So we've been stuck for a while now. We were 4 days without proper foods. I quite honestly don't know how long we've been doing the ARG for now. It's definitely been more than a week. We've been stuck, unable to open this one document for I think 6 days now. Documenta 7. We were not able to open it because we couldn't have a password. We were stuck on it. It's the document that Ein Seminar sent to Charlotte. There may or may not have been a cult started around Bonzo. First of all, before we get to Documenta 7, because I'm keeping you on your toes, we got some dates. We called the phone number. It would change on 22nd of September.
49, 59, 27, 56, 58, 39, 27, 56.
And that would lead to the fact that the date of 30 September, we are supposed to go to a bookshop in Berlin. And I don't live near Berlin, but I'm going anyway. Yeah, I'm going to Berlin for this. The 1st of October, there's something in London that people need to go to. Also, the phone number did change again, but now it is weird static noise. Documenta 7, the moment you've been waiting for, because this is a lore drop. It is hilarious that this has been hidden in there for so long. You do not understand how big of a lore drop this is. It's not even... So, Documenta 7. Funniest part is, we've had the password for a while now. It's just that nobody tried it in all caps lock. 6 days. We were stuck on this document for 6 days. And you know what's in there? A Bonzo book. Imagine you are Checkpoint Charlotte, are very worried about your friend Ein Seminar because he's sending all these cryptic messages and he might die. And the document he sent you, it's really hard to decode, but you did it. You pushed through, and it's a Bonzo book. Okay, this is a joke. I mean, there is a Bonzo book in there, but there's more. There is a file, like a psychological analysis of a bunch of names, which obviously belongs to the Magnus Institute Manchester, which is an institute for gifted children and adults. The research is based on Jean Piaget. It's psychological research. And there's some names on the list. It's a long list. And it has analysis on them, and their cognitive being and their empathetic capacity. First of all, Sam's on there. Sam's on there. But also maybe Alice, because there is a person on that list with a male name, Connor, and then Alice's last name, Dyer. I am theorizing that that is Alice's dead name, seeing as these documents are really old and probably not use her chosen name. It could also just be her brother, but I'm going to assume she is trans. But this is the big one. This is the big one. Hold your horses. You ready? Gerard Key. Yes. Gerard Key. I am not joking. Gerard! Jerry! He's probably really traumatized. The Magnus Institute portion of the conspiracy board is getting a little bit crowded. But we got our first solid connection because Ein Seminar of the German forums found out about the unethical studies that the Magnus Institute was doing and disappeared because of that. And meanwhile, Sam and possibly Alice are connected to the Magnus Institute because they were part of these studies, but also they are a part of the Office of Incident and Assessment Response something. We are part of this thing. We got some solid connections. Also, there is like a guy in the Colin code. One of the forum members has like a file in Colin's code. And it's corrupted. Still don't know who Bonzo is. Please invest in Bonzo bucks. At least I'm going to Berlin. So, my trip to Berlin. I went with a good friend of mine. Both me and my friend stayed 2 nights. When it came to the ART, 30th of October, decided to meet up at a little cafe nearby the bookstore that we should meet up at, so we could all collect and go together. Which I felt very bad towards the small little bookshop owner. We asked him if he knew about the Magnus Archives, and he gave us the hint that we should be looking in the kitchen. The team immediately took this way too literally and almost got into an area we were not supposed to go into because we were trying to find the kitchen. We proceeded to look at the cookbook section and found a old newspaper with a ticket for the Manchester Protocol shows.
If you're self-oppressive to a friend, use code.
Wir wohnen alle in Deutschland und alle.
But maybe someone in Manchester can use it.
We immediately tried sending it to all the other people in the ARG on the Discord. We went to a copy shop trying to make copies of the actual paper, which apparently did not go all that well. I guess that's just, you know, TMA and trying to digitalize weird artifacts. It never goes that well.
Oh, I do see one. I see one. Here's another.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, 56 degrees.
We're being real detectives.
Yeah.
And I'm just here.
Somebody's having take that.
You're the activist.
Oh my god. This is the POV the Magnus Archives season 1.
I feel like we are eligible to work at the Magnus Institute London.
Absolutely. We have 0 qualifications, but a bunch.
I'm a YouTuber. That's enough qualifications according to Elias.
Yeah,
John didn't have any qualifications, so why should we?
exactly.
But eventually, we did get it on a little USB stick. We proceeded to just go about our day, honestly. I am very grateful towards all the people who were there. They were very nice and very kind. Genuinely had such a great time. It was so fun just standing around like idiots around the city of Berlin with a piece of paper trying to figure out the code, which apparently led to coordinates in England, Manchester, which we are currently assuming location of the current Magnus Institute. I got back from Berlin the day after Berlin. We immediately had also an event in London, which in London they found, like in this little book, they found floppy disks inside of this book, and also burned Polaroids, which we are going to assume was, of course, from when the Magnus Institute burned down. Also within within the floppy disks was like the spreadsheet, which we got more spreadsheets. Woo! Also, there's some like weird pictures inside of it. While we're here, I got both the actual like copy, like the USB copy of the newspaper and the official papers. So I'm here for this now. I'm holding a piece of history. I stole this from Berlin, and it's now in the Netherlands. A little keychain. Like things found in London, they found another date and time in London, which will be in like a week's time, I think. So we'll have to wait for that. That's kind of just all. Collins code stuff. We found another, like, a mud client, but basically it responds to you. And if certain information is typed in, it will basically just freak the fuck out. And will say shit like, you're not supposed to be here, you're being watched, blah blah blah, which again gives off a very Ushanka vibe. So I think the AI itself, what it's supposed to be, is Freddy, but we also had another IRL event at the little park in London, and I will put down a clip here.
The symbol for tin, is it upside down? I believe it might be. Okay, I've just been given this by my lady. By your lady? Okay, yeah. Would you like some help? Yes, please. Okay. Unfortunately, I can only talk to one of you at a time. If you can allocate one person, and I will take you and give you some information.
I'm happy to go. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise I won't take you far.
Sure.
So, I believe you're part of the investigative team.
Yes, I am.
You've discovered some clues.
Yes, we have.
I understand, okay. My lady would like to make it clear that no more investigation into Lady M should be done. However, we are able to give you some information if you can promise that that will be the case.
Yes, I absolutely promise.
Absolutely, okay. Please come with me to a slightly nice busy location.
Of course.
Mom, am I able to give this person the clues? Understood. Okay, may I just have one more confirmation? You're not to look into Lady M anymore.
Of course, of course.
Very good. Now I will hand you this. And there is to be no more discussion about this furthermore.
Yes, of course.
Understood?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Of course, thank you very much.
Do not investigate into Lady M any further. Of course not, I said, you know, like a liar. The person they are referring to is Lady M, which one of the characters we have on our little cast list is Lady Maubrey. So that's definitely the same person. So we have another location for one of our little characters, Lady Maubrey. And the piece of paper they got had wingdings on it, and that wingdings, we got the Pronto email account, which we crashed by having way too many people log in, because we cannot go a day without breaking something. And via that email, we got an email from Bonzo Bazaar, which said something along the lines of, I hope this will suffice, and it had like a weird logo on it, and, you know, decoding stuff happened, and we got access to a website, the Magnus Institute database, which it looks like this. It's very old schooly looking. I love it, which means that technically speaking, Lady Maubrey, Lady M, is connected to Bonzo somehow. They know each other because they were emailing. Also, this is really cute. My brother found the conspiracy board. He was concerned, but he put down a little note with what does it mean and a little Illuminati symbol. So I have it here just because I think it's cute. Has nothing to do with the ERG. I tried to explain it to him. I don't think he got it. And I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm crazy now. With the emails we found yesterday, we were also able to open up the merch site for the Bonzo website, which looks just as creepy as I expected it would be. I'm sad that they are not selling actual Bonzo t-shirts. I have insider knowledge that there is in fact going to be Bonzo t-shirts. There's another live event that we had, which was the location in Manchester at like this building. Basically, people went there and they found these old tapes. After some technical difficulties trying to play the VHS tape, we finally got a update from the Strange Haunts UK Tumblr account posting the video that they found. Within the video, there is these symbols which can be put into the Magnus Institute database puzzle, which will result in a congratulations. We finally did it. We solved it. There are 0 answers, but we did it. We solved the ARG. I still don't know what any of it means. I still don't know what Bonzo is. But we did it. We did it. What does it mean? What even is a Bonzo? What does it mean? Why did I invest in Bonzo Buck? Why? In the congratulations message, it does mention that this was our recruitment for the British Civil Service. And with that is also a trailer for the Magnus Protocol.
Come in.
Hi. Sorry, I hope I'm not too early. The email said 9 p.m., but
That's quite all right. Please take a seat. Samama, isn't it?
Sam is fine.
Very good. Thank you for coming in. Alice has spoken highly of you. You went to university together, I believe?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you have a strong CV, decent cover letter, and you present well.
Oh, thank you.
So you do not want this job?
Listen, if you think I'm overqualified,
It would be difficult not to be. But no, it's not that. To be more accurate, you shouldn't want this job. This kind of work, it isn't for everybody.
I'm not sure I understand.
You are clearly a bright, sociable, and ambitious young man who works hard.
So?
So I have no use for you.
Please. Look, I need this.
The hours are punishing, and the work is both monotonous and unpleasant. You will have few social interactions, and depression is highly likely.
Not a problem.
In that case, I have an aptitude question for you. What is the worst thing you've ever seen?
I'm sorry?
You've seen a friend or relative die, perhaps? An accident? Maybe some kind of violent crime? Something stranger, then? Maybe something you've never been able to explain, and no one would ever believe. Be honest now, Sam, or I can't offer you the job.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time, Sam. We'll be in touch.
Also, a lot of people assume that the voice actress that is talking to Sam is Gwendolyn's voice actor. That is not true. It is... Someone recognized the voice as Sarah Lambie, which would mean that it is Lena Kelly. Which means that there's like one person from the original cast list that is still in this little corner. All of them got their spot. Lena over here is working for the British Civil Service as well. Also, Sam and Alice knew each other in college. The people who are currently working for the Office of Incident Assessment and Response are Sam, Alice, Lena, Colin, Freddy, maybe? If Freddy is a person and not an algorithm. I mean, Freddy is an algorithm, but like, maybe there's a person Freddy. Something a lot of people noted is also the like weird code bit at the start of the trailer says initializing J, initializing M, initializing J, which then comes to the theory that our boys over here, John, Martin, and Jonah, are actually stuck inside of like technology, and maybe they all like mush together or something, or at least the theory that they might be stuck within the technology is like a common theory now that I've seen floating around. There's just a lot of loose threads. A lot of loose threads. I want to first of all thank every person inside of the Statement Remains Discord. This would not have happened without you, because I would not have gone past like the first website. But in particular, the mods who were running this thing, you guys did an amazing job. And also Rusty Quill for both being really good and kind with us, but also just, you know, doing the RG. I hope this makes sense. I'm probably forgetting things. I'm definitely forgetting things. If you like me as a person, I have socials, I draw a lot, I do art. So please follow, and thank you for watching.